Love Inspired and HarperAudio present A Courtship for the Amish Spinster by Vannetta Chapman. Performed by Stephanie Richardson. Children are an heritage of the Lord. Psalm 127, verse 3. This book is dedicated to my students. Chapter 1. Eunice Yoder stepped out of the barn and into a fine September evening. Northern Indiana in the fall was a wunderbar place to be, and Shipshewana was the perfect little town. It was a good day, made better by the fact that Eunice had figured out what was wrong with the solar pump she'd been working on for her brooder-in-law Gideon. She had a little bounce in her steps and was looking forward to a nice dinner. Perhaps she'd even have a free hour to finish the novel she'd borrowed from the library the week before. She was so pleased with herself and so busy planning her evening that she almost walked by Sarah's buggy without paying any attention to it. Honey nickered, though, pulling Eunice's attention into the present. The chestnut mare had a rich brownish-red coat. She was even-tempered and didn't mind waiting. Eunice thought Honey was a fine horse. "Hey, girl, didn't expect to see you tonight." Luckily, she had a peppermint in her pocket for just such emergencies. Eunice unwrapped the candy, held it in her palm, and waited for Honey to accept the gift. She didn't have to wait long. Scratching the mare's neck, she whispered, "Guess I'll go see what my big sis is up to." No one was on the porch, where they should have been on such a beautiful afternoon. No one was in the sitting room, which would have made some sense as they often visited there. She turned toward the kitchen, the first bells of alarm going off, and stopped in the doorway. Her dat and Schwester sat at the table, patiently waiting for her by the looks on their faces. Sarah was taller than Eunice by a good 4 inches and rail thin. She was the oldest of the siblings and looked good. She looked content. Their dad had recently turned 60 years old, was somewhat round but not fat, and his hair and beard were quickly turning more gray than brown. "Might as well come on in," Sarah said, patting the seat beside her. "Not sure I want to." "And yet, we need to speak to you." Her dad met her gaze and smiled softly. It didn't reach his eyes, though, which was rare. Her father was usually in a jovial mood. Not this afternoon, not as he sat there studying her with something between concern and exasperation. This looked serious. Yikes. She couldn't think of a single thing she'd done to embarrass her family or step outside the Ordung. She breathed a sigh of relief that at least Bishop Ezekiel wasn't in attendance, so it couldn't be terrible news. Ezekiel was like their long-lost uncle as well as their spiritual advisor. If something big was going down, Ezekiel would have been there. "I brought dinner," Sarah said. "It's heating in the oven." "Thank ye." Everyone knew that Eunice wasn't the best cook of the family, but they were getting by, her and her dad. Since Sarah had married and moved away, Eunice had been forced to learn the most basic of cooking skills. She thought she'd been doing okay. Was this about that? Her father didn't waste any time. "We need to talk to you, Eunice, about your future." "My future?" Sarah chimed in with. "Dad's worried, and so am I. We all are." "You've been talking about my future to everyone?" "Not everyone," her dad corrected. "Your Schwester, of course. Gideon, Aaron, Ethan, and Noah all felt very strongly that it wasn't their place to voice an opinion." Worse and worse. If her 4 brooders-in-law were taking a hands-off approach, it must be very serious indeed. She sat in the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?